What has been your pitch to investors here in Davos? I imagine that's priority number one for you right now.
Absolutely. I think Maharashtra has always been the growth engine of India. And my pitch to the investors is that there's a very good investment climate in Maharashtra. Maharashtra accounts for 14% of the national GDP. It accounts for 20% of Indian exports. It accounts for 18% of Indian manufacturing, and it accounts for 35% of the FDI that comes to India. So it's a sort of investment destination. And apart from that, Mumbai is a fintech capital, Pune is tech capital. And I think in the recent report of the Startup India, now Maharashtra has become the startup capital of India by absolute number and by absolute investment. It is the number one. So I think we are actually showcasing our strengths to the investors, and I'm happy to share that we have got huge investments from diverse sectors, and I'm very happy about it.
But I did hear that you signed an investment sort of understanding or MOU with the Indian group JSW. Have you been able to get interest from foreign investors here in Davos? And could you name a few specific ones?
I would say that most of our investment is coming from the foreign investors, and even those investors which are Indian are bringing foreign investments. So these are FDIs. So that's why they want to sign it in Davos, because they bring their foreign partners with them. So I think in various sectors, let's say in the data center, we could sign with Amazon, we could sign with Microsoft.
Right
So,
here this week?
Yeah, right here this
And
week.
do you have a number you can share with us in terms of the kind of investor interest? What would it amount to?
It is total investment of $200 billion.
$200 billion
Yes,
in 1 week?
Yes.
That does seem like an exaggeration,
Absolutely.
Minister, if you'll allow me to say that.
I've tweeted every single investment and you can verify.
Well, I hope to do that. But you spoke of all the strengths of the state. Unfortunately, though, in the last few years, Maharashtra has slid down the rankings when it comes to per capita GDP. Industrial growth has slowed. So what specific policy changes are you going to make to fix these? Because many other states, whether it's Gujarat with semiconductors, or it is Tamil Nadu with EVs, or Karnataka with tech, are getting way ahead of you.
So I think it's a myth. I'm telling you, because, you know, if you look at EV, now the next EV capital of India is not Tamil Nadu, it will be Maharashtra. Mahindra has invested, JSW has invested, Toyota has invested, Hyundai has invested. Everyone has invested in Maharashtra into EV. And having said that, if you look at technology, I've told you the technology startups are actually they sit most in Mumbai. So technologically also Maharashtra is way ahead of other states. And in last 6 months we could garner 40% FDI that came to India, and it is 90% of what came
Chief
last
Minister,
year.
does that mean you're making no policy changes to be able to bring more investment
No.
to
We
cut
have
the red
to.
tape,
In fact,
develop more urban areas in the state?
No, so I must tell you that we are doing a lot of policy changes. We did new logistic policy, new data policy, new IT policy. So on policy, we are actually working more, because we know that the job market is changing, technologies are changing, how businesses were conducted up till now. We understand that, and around that we are framing our policies so that we can attract new and emerging technologies. Now we have decided to create a innovation city near Mumbai. It will be a city in 100 hectares of land. This innovation city will host the entire ecosystem of innovation. It will be AI powered, and I think that will be one of its kind city which we are building.
Where near Mumbai will this
It will be in New Mumbai, because now Mumbai and New Mumbai are joined together by the Atal Setu.
Sure.
And in New Mumbai, there will be a innovation city, there will be
And
a sports
what
city,
kind
there
of-
will be a edu city, and there will be also a medi city. And I must share that 4 big universities, and to name 2, Illinois and Western Australia, have already signed with us. They are coming to our edu city.
What's the timeline for all of this? Because these do sound like very ambitious plans. But how do we hold you accountable to them?
No, you should hold me accountable, because every year you will see the progress. Of course, creating a city is a generational project,
Right.
but we are starting right now.
All right, great. The fiscal parameters of the state have changed over the last couple of years. Maharashtra at one time was considered to be a very responsible state, but you've blown out your revenue deficit because of the Ladki Bahin scheme, which, offers cash sops to young women. And whilst it's a commendable scheme, so to speak, it is putting a stress on your finances. And now we hear that the state is in fact verifying all the people that took advantage of the scheme before the election and might be cutting back on some of that largesse. Can you explain to me what's going on?
First thing is that although I agree that there are pressures on our fiscal space, having said that, but still we could maintain 3% fiscal deficit this year as well.
Yes,
so
that's a statutory recommendation.
Yes,
but
so,
Maharashtra has been much more disciplined than that in the past.
Let me tell you, most of the big states are not maintaining 3%. We are maintaining 3%. We are still below 3%. We are trying to maintain that. And so far as Ladki Bahin is concerned, yes, we are verifying because there were certain parameters on which we wanted to give the scheme. Although we could not verify it earlier, now we are verifying because, when you want to onboard people like Kisan Samman Yojana, which PM Saab started, it was first rolled out, it was democratized, and then those who took disadvantage, they were brought off board. So on same lines we are doing.
But then it sounds like this was just an election sop. It was an effort to win elections.
Just let
and
me tell
now
you,
you're rolling back some of it?
No, we are not rolling back.
Okay.
At that time we told that those who pay income tax should not apply. Those who have four-wheeler should not apply.
Is leaving it up to them.
We also told that it was self-certification. We also told that those who have income more than 2,50,000 should not apply. Now, there are people who applied, who took benefit, but
you know how it looks to the opposition, that you use the scheme as an attraction to bring voters to your side, and now you're doing the verification which should have been done in the earlier instance.
One thing is the most difficult thing which no one can do, that is to satisfy opposition. So one should not try.
All right.
You should satisfy the people.
All right. You have 5 years as Chief Minister, and hopefully this term will be less volatile than the last 5 years. But you are also, as they describe it, an RSS man. So Chief Minister, can I ask you this? Over a period of time, do you think you might harbor prime ministerial ambitions?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all?
No. See, I know my strength and I know my limitations. And in BJP, we have always created a new generation.
Yes.
So people used to think that what would happen to BJP after Atalji and Advaniji, but here we are. Our entire new generation is there. A third generation is also created. So I will say that I am part of a new generation. We are cultivated by our leaders. Our Prime Minister wants new people to,
Rise.
come as leaders. So they are cultivating us. That's all I can say right now.
But over the next 10, 15 years, no prime ministerial ambitions?
Not at all.
All right. Thank you very much, Chief Minister. Have a good Davos, and thank you for speaking to us here in Mumbai.